In a world where carbs are your enemy, you need one man to help you fight your battles. That man is Jimmy.
Combating nutrition disinformation and general bull. It's Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com.
What's up, you guys? Welcome back to another Instagram Live, and we're here with another episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. If you want to engage live in the content, you got to go follow me over on Instagram Live. I'm at Living Low Carb Man, LIVINLOWCARBMAN. Once you're there, you can engage live, just like all these beautiful people are doing right now. Thank you guys for being here today on Jimmy Rants. If you missed the live, you can watch it on replay for up to 24 hours. After 24 hours, it does disappear. Pop on over to YouTube, type in a keyword search Jimmy Rants. You'll find the show, or you can go directly to my page, youtube.com/livinglowcarbman. Finally, the best of the best moments of this here show, we make a podcast out of it. It's called the Jimmy Rants Podcast over on Apple Podcasts as well as Stitcher. And all of these links, you guys, are at JimmyRants.com. Today's Jimmy Rants, we got a good one that is a follow-up to the last time I was with you. It's been a few days since I've been on Jimmy Rants. We did a whole bunch of ones on fasting for 2 weeks back during my my big 7-day water fasting challenge that I put out there. So many of you were involved in that, so thank you so much for being involved. Congratulations to everybody that got through. For many of you, the longest fast you've ever done, like by a mile. I think the people I was most proud of were the ones that had never even done beyond intermittent fasting of 16, 18, even 24 hours. And then suddenly they pulled off a week. Mad respect for you if you jumped from intermittent fasting all the way to a week-long fast. But I wanted to address something here today, now that it's been about 4 or 5 days since the end of the fasting period. And I want to address a major myth that is put out there about fasting with some actual things that have happened to me since I ended the fast. All right. So what I want to talk about here today is, do you gain back all the weight that you lose from fasting? And of course, we're not counting intermittent fasting, because I think intermittent fasting, you don't really count that. I don't really count that as fasting. You know what I call intermittent fasting? I'm between meals. That's pretty much what intermittent fasting is, because I've become so used to eating one meal a day, sometimes two, but most of the time one, that if you eat the meal and then you go 23 and a half hours and then you have another meal, that is an intermittent fast. But I don't really think it's something that you have to worry about. Well, did I lose weight? Did I gain back? No. So what we're talking primarily about is when you do these extended fasts and ostensibly you lose a lot of weight. So I don't know about you, how much weight you lost on the 7-day fast, those of you that finished this with me, but I lost a total of 16 pounds on that fast. And people are like, well, that's all well and good, but you're going to gain it all back when you start eating again. So I've been eating again since Friday. It ended on that Thursday night, July the 11th. It ended right around 6:30. I was traveling that day and started getting really hungry because I was tired and traveling and stressed, and it all made me have to end it. Just a tick over 7 days. I think it was 7 days and 6 hours, 6.5 hours is what it ended up being. So I've been eating every day since I got back, and I'm happy to report to you guys that of the 16 pounds that I lost in that 7 days, 9 of them are still gone. That's big. That's really, really big when you can keep off that kind of weight loss. And I think it's a combination of things for me. I don't think it'll necessarily be that much for everybody. Most people, if you lose 16 pounds on a fast and you go back to eating your keto way of eating again, you're going to see probably a cumulative maybe 4 to 5 pounds off that stay off. So what's helped me, I think, is what's been helping me in the past few months is I've been able to chill out a little more. So the stress levels are down that keep me optimized with fat burning. That's one. One thing that I have been very deliberate about doing that has helped with this is ever since ending the fast, I've fallen into some intermittent fasting pretty routinely. I remember on the Friday, after I broke the fast on that Thursday night, didn't eat a whole lot actually. Friday, all day on the Friday, which was the day after I ended the nearly 7.5 day fast, I nibbled on fat and protein kind of throughout the day. I was trying to kind of refeed some of the fuel, get food back into my body, and get that going again. Well, then from Friday until I got done with my speaking thing that I did on Saturday in Monterey, Virginia, I didn't eat for 21 and a half hours. So that was a good intermittent fast. Okay. So then I had some food at the 21 and a half hours that they had prepared for me. And a great friend of mine who watches Jimmy Rants, shout out to Griff Sam. Sam had made me a keto cheesecake. So when I got home, I gave a slice of that to Christine, and I had a slice, and I ate that night. Well, then I didn't eat again after that until the next day, which was Sunday, late in the day. So again, a very long period of intermittent fasting. And that's kind of been the pattern of when you're back into the eating groove again after doing a long fast, people are like, well, you're going to gain all the weight back. Well, not if you employ the strategies that you learned in the midst of longer fasting. Because to me, if you made it 7 days of not eating any food at all, how hard is it to push your intermittent fasting window 18 hours, 24 hours, even sometimes 36 hours. Yesterday, when I had my meal yesterday, it had been 34 and a half hours between meals. And that's very deliberate. People are like, okay, so I did the extended fast, so I need to eat when I get back to eating again. And that's a strategy we can do, but you're almost guaranteed to gain back the weight. So how do you keep the benefits going? You do intermittent fasting, which is what I've been doing. You can do a little bit of the alternate day fasting, which I've tried pushing it to that OMAD, alternate day OMAD, 1 meal a day. I can't quite do it yet. I want to do it. I probably could suck it up, buttercup, and make it happen. But for me, after doing that long fast, I feel very comfortable with 20 to 24 hours ish of fasting, with a few a little bit longer like the one I ended yesterday, and it's keeping up the benefits, you guys. This is the fun part. I haven't tested blood sugar. I still can't find my meter. I just need to go buy a new meter, but I can't test my blood sugar. But that would be a great indication of whether it's time to keep fasting or not. I know a friend of mine who's in the keto space recently had something that did not sit well in the stomach. So they tested blood sugar, and blood sugar had gone up, blood ketones were down. So this person decided to just fast and to keep on fasting until blood sugar got into a comfortable, healthy range and blood ketones got up to a therapeutic range. Well, when it did, the fast ended, and it ended up being 42 hours for this person. And so that's a strategy. Use the tools that are at your disposal that you're probably already using on occasion anyway, but be very deliberate about, okay, blood sugar's getting a little wonky, let's just fast. Blood ketones aren't quite where they need to be, let's just fast. And if you use those tools and pay attention to your body, you're not starving yourself, you're not doing anything that would be harmful, you're trying to keep up all the benefits that you got when you went on that extended fast. So if you're just joining us, we are talking about fasting yet again. I promise this is not Jimmy Fast Rants, although it could be lately. We're talking about once the fast is over, all those people that come out of the woodwork and say, well, yeah, that fast was all well and good, but you're going to gain back all the weight. And so what we're talking about is, do you gain back all the weight that you lose from fasting and how not to? I lost 16 pounds in the 7+ days that I fasted last week. And of that 17 pounds, 5 days later, I'm still down 9 pounds of that. So that's pretty significant, which, by the way, I'm at the lowest weight I've been probably in 3 years, which is not just fasting that's helping to produce that. A lot of stress reduction with me slowing down, heading into my sabbatical. Good things are already happening, and I haven't even gone sabbatical yet. So really great news. And anything else along that line, I will be sure to pass along to you guys. So it's not inevitable you're going to gain back the weight. And those people that make those comments, they just don't realize that there are strategies you can employ. And hopefully some of what I've shared with you here today gives you a peek inside how you can keep those things going. Now, here's a really fascinating thing. I have found since I started eating again, after extended fasting, that I hadn't been able to eat as much. Have you guys noticed that? Okay, yeah, that first meal, obviously. But even since then, I've made some of the meals that I was eating before in the quantities that I would eat before, and I can't do it. In fact, it was, what was it, yesterday? Monday. Yeah, today's Tuesday. My days are all off because I've been traveling so much. Yesterday, I decided to make some hamburgers. And I usually eat one meal a day, and I'll have 3 hamburgers with some sliced cheese on top, and that will be my meal. Guys, I got through 1.5 hamburgers, and I was so incredibly full with half the amount of food I used to eat. And I think that's one of the positive effects that has come from this fasting as well, that's helping me to continue the benefits of the fast, is the body is saying, okay, big boy, we healed some stuff during that fast, and you don't need as much energy anymore. Guys, that is profound. I hope you're seeing those kind of things that are happening in your own life after doing this fast. And even those of you that did shorter ones, maybe you've noticed some of these things as well, that, okay, wow, I can't eat as much, and it's a good thing. And you feel better. My digestion has been so on point since the end of the fast as well. I told you guys, when you do this like longer fasting, some of that internal stuff just starts healing. Gut health, insulin resistance starts healing a little more. So many good things. And I think also some of the ghrelin pathways, which is that hormone in the body that impacts how much you eat and how much you want to eat. It's basically an appetite controller. Ghrelin must be under control really well, because I've been very satisfied, very easy to spontaneously intermittent fast. I've been posting lately my ketone levels all over social media this week, and you'll notice that in the mornings I have some lower readings, but I have robust benefits from nutritional ketosis, which is telling me the fasting has allowed my body to help shuttle into the cells even better some of those ketones, so that as I'm making the ketones, they're now being used as energy and for other purposes. And so it's nothing but good stuff. So a lot of people say you're going to gain back all the weight once you start eating again, which you know is not true. But I would also say you're not going to just negatively take away all of these benefits that you got from fasting once you start eating again, if you're mindful of those cues. So are you being mindful? Are you noticing all of these things? Are you telling your body, okay, if you're going to make me feel full at half the amount of food that I used to eat, then I need to listen to that signal and heed it? I'll tell you something else that happened. That hamburger meal is a very fatty meal. I didn't feel well after it. And I'm thinking my body is becoming a lot more adjusted to now wanting to preferably tap into my stored body fat, which is why the weight loss is happening. And maybe just a little bit, I don't need as much of the fat. And I think it's just a natural progression. The body is kind of moving for me. It doesn't mean I'm going low fat, doesn't mean I'm cutting fat consciously, but it means that I tend to feel a little bit better post-fast, not having as much of the fat that I was having. Now, I know that's very subjective, it's very highly individualized to Jimmy Moore, but it's something worth noting that maybe you are noticing too, that there's different changes in what you were doing with your keto pre-fast, and then you went on this really long fast, and then you started eating again. Are you noticing little changes in even the way you do keto now? I hope so. I think that's one of the fun parts about doing a fast like this, is you learn so many kind of new things that maybe in the day-to-day-ism of doing your keto without really purposely doing fasting, you didn't notice. You're not noticing changes are happening. And I don't think anybody who eats keto needs to ever get complacent with where you are in your keto. There's always things you can tweak and change. And of course, as you get older, those things continue to tweak and change some more. Listen to what your body's telling you. And if one of the days says, hey, feed me more protein, I don't need as much fat today, then you heed those signals. And it's a radical mindset change that you have to put your body through, because so many people, I gotta stuff in the fat to meet my macronutrient ratios, and I need to do this and do that, and I think we're kind of over processing ourselves to the point of not getting it anymore. And fasting, you guys, really opened my eyes to that. It's one reason why I like doing longer fasts, because I always come back to keto eating again with a whole new perspective, a whole new appreciation, so many new things to think about, and it's nothing but a good thing. So, all right, I want to see what you guys have to say about this topic of do you gain back all the weight you lose after fasting, and how not to do that. Welcome in. Thanks for being here today on Jimmy Rants. And sorry, yes, it's been a few days since I've done Jimmy Rants, but Jimmy's been traveling, and Jimmy had to mow the grass and weed eat and cut his leg yesterday doing that. Go look at the picture on my stories if you missed it. But I'm back, so I'm happy to be here. Linda says, good morning. Perfect day for catching up on podcasts as it's pouring down. Well, go get it, Linda. I got a great Livin' La Vida low carb show today from the Low Carb Cruise, who have a medical doctor, Dr. Jeff McDaniel, who gave a great talk all about some of the common mistakes that he's seen on keto. D. Guggen, I'm still fasting 257 hours. Whoa! That's over 11 days. That's hardcore. Congratulations. Grace says 16 pounds. Wow, very cool. Yeah, 16 pounds. If you missed it, you came in late. I lost 16 pounds in the 7+ days of fasting that I did, and I have kept off of those 16 pounds 9. So when I stepped on the scale this morning, it's about 5 days post-fast. I would think that's enough time that if I was going to, quote, gain back all the weight, it would have happened by now. 9 pounds is still gone, which I am now, combined with the weight I lost in May, June, just slowing down, and then doing this fast in July, I'm now down almost, it's over 25 pounds, almost 30 pounds now, which is pretty cool. Keto Doc, what are your thoughts on whether you lost visceral or subcutaneous fat? I think it was visceral fat. I really do. The subcutaneous is going to be fluctuating, Keto Doc. But I sincerely hope and think it is the ones that are around the organs. I suppose the only way you could actually quantify that is to do some of the imaging, like a DEXA scan or something like that, to see exactly where the fat removal came from. But can I just be honest? I don't care where it came from, as long as fat is being mobilized, and with my ketone levels the way that they were in the midst of the fast, as high as 5 point something, I know I was mobilizing a lot of stored body fat, which is the goal and purpose. So thank you for that question. All right. Hello, Liv. Thanks for being here from Norway. You're my Norway Jimmy Rants fan. Appreciate that. Kitty Caddick says, every winter I put on about 10 pounds. After annual 10-day fast in the beginning of the spring, all of that comes off and is gone, like just 1 pound would be regained. Cat, that's awesome. And it's cool. You're so in tune with your body that when that happens, you know what to do. And it's nothing you changed about what you did. It just happens. And it's a lesson there as well that implement a strategy when things like that happen. Shirley says, I lost about 4 to 5 pounds during the fast. Haven't really weighed myself since then, but I feel like I've gained most of it back. Oh, come on. You feel like you've gained most of that back? How do you feel that? That doesn't make any sense at all. Step on the scale. Just take a peek. Because you might be surprised you've only gained 1 or 2 of it back. And of course, if you lost 4 or 5 pounds, you didn't lose that much. So it stands to reason that you might gain back, 3 to 4 pounds of that. Don't beat yourself up. It's not what I was doing it for, so I'm okay. See, there it is. Okay. The Carnitarian, I lost 9 pounds during the 7-day fast, gained back only 3. So there is a net weight loss of 6 pounds, which, congratulations, the Carnitarian. That is about 2/3 of the weight that you lost. So yeah, that's really, really cool. Good job. Kimberly says, congrats on the weight loss. You look great. Thank you. I feel great. I've had several people, they saw me giving a talk on Saturday. They saw the pictures of me giving the talk from Monterey, Virginia. And several people saw me live at KetoCon, and they're like, dude, you've lost more weight. I said, yeah, I'm losing a lot of weight right now. So it's pretty cool. Keto Doc says, I'm on a 40-hour fast. My morning glucose is 90. Had been 130, ketones are 3.4, had been 0.3. I feel terrific and plan to continue on a day-to-day basis. See, Keto Doc, I think you're onto something here. With what you were doing, your blood glucose was a little bit out of control in the type 2 diabetic range, ketones basically nil, but now just 40 hours of fasting, look how much profoundly different they are. Because most people that are insulin resistant, it takes them anywhere from 48 to 72 plus hours before they see that dramatic of a change in their numbers. So maybe the lesson here for you, Keto Doc, is implement more 40-hour fasting. So 40-hour fasting is basically every other day eating. So I think an alternate day fasting strategy for you sounds like it's the ticket. So in that fast, have a meal, keep it really keto, have that one meal, then go back to fasting for 40 to 42 hours again. And it could end up being eat on Monday, don't eat Tuesday, eat on Wednesday, don't eat Thursday, that kind of thing. You might be surprised. That strategy might be the one that works for you. Beth says, in an uncommon twist, I haven't much to say today, but you've been missed the last few days. Glad you're heeding those self-care cues. Oh, Beth, I am. When I wasn't feeling it to come on Jimmy Rants because of all the travel, and I miss you guys when I don't do these, by the way. It's not like I don't want to be here. I want to be here, but I'm also trying to slow down the breakneck pace that I have been doing, and it's reaped me some benefits. So I know you guys understand that care. Natalie says, I got my fasting drops and salt. I'm ready for my first fast. Thank you for these fasting rants. I'm so ready. Well, go get it, Natalie. Let me know how you're doing. Keto Horizon, after a 72-hour fast a couple weeks ago, have kept my fat and protein around the same. Kept on losing weight. Now I feel lower energy, though after a few weeks, so I will be increasing my fat again. Well, again, you're paying attention to the signals. That is the key. Milton says, thank you. I needed to hear this about the fat intake. I tend to overdo the fats. I struggle articulating that, because one of the last things I want people to do is to say, oh, well, Jimmy Moore said, cut your fat. I hope you're not hearing me say that. I think most people probably do better having, on a regular basis, a higher preponderance of fat in their diet than protein and carbs combined. So if you're not, then you should. But I do think if your body's giving you signals digestively, or just the way you feel. When I had those hamburgers, guys, and I ate only 1.5 of them and got very satiated, I actually had some symptoms too of my stomach got a little bit upset and I just didn't feel well. It was a weird kind of sensation. And I think it's a repercussion of when I did the fast. My body healed of some things. And so it's not that you necessarily should cut your fat willy-nilly. Listen to your body. And if you have a bad physiological reaction to having more fat, then it's okay to cut back a little bit on it. It's still not low fat. It's still fat in there, just maybe not as much. Linda says, glad you're back. Love the info. We'll be headed over to your podcast when I've watched this. You're looking awesome. Thank you for that. Beth says, oops, thought of something to say now. Beth, I would expect no less, my dear. This ain't my first rodeo with keto neogenesis. Fasting is not about the weight loss as with keto. I focus on autophagy benefits, if for no other reason than to steer my weight in a different direction. And see, the autophagy, I think, is the pay dirt. And maybe some of these changes that happen is the autophagy has happened. And if you don't know what autophagy is, go back and watch all my older episodes where we talked about fasting the last couple weeks, because we got really deep into that. But I wonder how much of that cleaning up of the old proteins and the things in the body just makes your body run more efficiently. It stands to reason it would. So if there's changes to be made, it's nothing but a good thing, reacting to the autophagy and the other benefits. Jan says, I'm also going strong as well, 290 hours of fasting. Whoop, whoop. Wow, 290. And you guys are going deep into fasting, so that is so great. Diane says, Scotland. Here's Scotland. Are you going to in Scotland? Is that the worst Scottish accent ever? 72 hours fasting, Diane says, as Diane is spewing out her coffee at me trying to do a Scottish accent. Tammy says, yes, I can tell there's weight loss. Congrats on the success. Thank you, Tammy. Santiago says, every time I did 48 hours of fasting, no weight loss, but other changes, improved sleep, better BM, not wanting so many vegetables. Really interesting. Compliments to keto says, thank you for such an encouraging and being an encouraging and positive role model, soaking up what I can from you before hiatus. Well, there's some people that have found me for the first time, like recently, and I go, and they're like upset because I'm leaving. I'm like, I'm old in this community, so if you haven't heard all my stuff, I have stuff since 2005 that you can knock yourselves out on. Watching on YouTube, listening on my podcast. Literally, if you went wall to wall, nothing you heard 24/7, every single day for 6 months, you just barely scratching the surface of all the stuff that's out there. So hopefully enough content's out there that if you need some encouragement, something I've done before is going to encourage you. But I'll be back March the 1st. Back and better than ever. Tony says, only fasted 48 hours straight. For the first time, was not feeling it as in other fasts, looking forward to longer ones. Well, 48 hours is great if that's the longest you've done. Of course, you missed us. We're all fabulous. You're not humble, are you, Beth? My low carb path. Hey, Kat, the complete guide to fasting changed my life and health for the better. Thanks for sharing the many health benefits of fasting. That is my job. Tracy Trouble 360. Oh, I love that username, by the way. You are definitely my blood sister. Jimmy, I lost 15 pounds, then 8 Saturday, but not Sunday. Lost 2 more this morning. Have put those 2 pounds back on, still at 15. Felt fab on the fast. My mom has been insured and is back on keto, wants to fast now. That's super. That's super. And I'll be anxious to see how well you do keeping up with all of the benefits that you've gotten. Beth says, I'm not listening to podcasts right now. I'm saving them for while you're gone. Well, cool. Bevy Girl, you guys, wants to know, why is Jimmy Moore leaving? if only I've done a Jimmy Rants about that, or if I gave a talk on the low carb cruise that's also on YouTube. If only those resources were. Oh wait, they are available. Go over to youtube.com, and if you type in Jimmy Rants sabbatical, you should find it. The Jimmy Rants that I did about it, where I talked about it earlier in the year, and then I gave a very emotional talk on the low carb cruise, which if you type in Jimmy Rants cruise, you should find that one. All right, so the bottom line, this Jimmy Rants: do you gain back all the weight that you lose after fasting for like a week, like we did last week, and how not to do it? Hopefully by now you realize you don't, and there's specific things that you can do and changes where you're listening to your body that indicate that you're doing a great job post-fast, keeping the benefits going. That's it for this episode of Jimmy Rants. JimmyRants.com is the website. As always, you can engage live in the content, just like all these amazing people. Kat says you're one of the hardest working people I've ever met. You deserve a hiatus. Thank you and enjoy. Thank you, Kat. Appreciate it. You can engage live by following me over on Instagram Live. I'm at Livin' Low Carb Man, LIVIN LOWCARBMAN. Once you're there, you can engage live in the content. But if you missed it, it's okay. You can watch the replay for up to 24 hours on Instagram. After 24 hours, it does disappear. Pop on over to YouTube, type in a keyword search Jimmy Rants or youtube.com/Livin' Low Carb Man. Finally, the best of the best moments of this here show, we have a podcast for you over on Apple Podcast and Stitcher. All of these links, you guys, are at jimmyrants.com. One more thing before I go. Today is the last day of the Prime, Amazon Prime Day that they're doing, and they have a cool little special, you guys. If you have wanted one of my books and you really couldn't afford it, you want to get the cheapest price you can, today is your day. So the code you use at checkout, Prime Book, singular, 19, Prime Book 19, they give you $5 off even the sale prices. So I checked in, Keto Clarity's at 40% off. My brand new book, Keto Clarity Cookbook, is 33% off. The Complete Guide to Fasting is also like 30-something% off. All of my books are on sale like pretty deeply already, and then they're going to give you $5 more off. So go grab one of my books, any of them. I have 9 total, 7 with the major publisher, and you can grab a copy of it, type in Prime Book 19 at checkout, and they'll give you $5 more off. I want to say Keto Clarity was like $11 by the time you put in the code. You're never going to find it for that cheap. So if you don't have a copy of any of my books, today is the day, and they only let you use it on one book. So pick a book, any book, but I would love it if you made it a Jimmy Moore book. All right, guys, I'm out of here. Until next time, we'll see you then.